Do you have resume development tools, assessment tools at all for the candidates?
We don't. We partner with, and one thing we do have is the part of the Beyond experience is as candidates come through, we have a registration path where we will ask them a series of questions. If they want to opt out anytime, great. I just want to view jobs, set up my job page and go. But if it's a job seeker who's really looking for some sort of help and a hand to hold with resume writing tips or assessments or things like that, then we partner with companies that offer those services and kind of politely make introductions as they're going through the registration path. But it's not our direct services. Yes?
You mentioned that you compete with Career Builder and Monster. I saw the ladders.com also up there.
Yes.
How does that differ from those other three, from the three that you mentioned?
The ladders is specifically for 100,000 plus jobs, and the candidate actually pays.
Yes.
The tagline, I think, is when everyone plays, no one wins. And the other spin I've heard is when everyone pays, no one wins. But I think it's great. I think it's for six professional jobs like that. It's nice to have. It's just another niche. It's just a niche that they've really committed to, and they've got a lot of money. And they've really pushed it pretty hard. So they've established a clearly dominant position in the six-figure area. Now, again, within our network, we've got a lot of executive sites as well, but we don't have the channel marketing that they have towards specifically that. So. Candidates are willing to pay if they're $20-$30 to have access to premium jobs. I think it's a pretty sound business model if you're looking for those folks. Sorry.
I guess I have a comment and then maybe a question to you. I work for a technology company, and we've had good success this year with Monster, with Dice, with LinkedIn. I actually don't use Twitter that much. But one of the other things that I do is I go out and speak to a lot of the groups, folks in transition, et cetera. And it's very disturbing to hear, and this is going to be my question, to hear the job seekers that are currently in transition looking for one, that they feel like kind of on a cross the board spectrum that the traditional job boards are just a big wasteland now. So I'm curious what kind of research you guys are kind of marketing to the candidate side, what they're feeding back to you now. Are they embracing the Web 2.0 war? They think the Monster Career Builder experience is just totally internet wasteland. And how much of it from the recruiting side that we own have we not done a good enough job of being responsive back to like job postings, et cetera? So kind of a multi-complex question there.
No, I think companies should have some sort of a response. You should treat candidates with respect. Again, that's a tough time in your life. It becomes overwhelming though in this type of economy where you've got so many applications coming in. So at the minimum, just automating that with some sort of a response. So I think you're right. They have felt like that's kind of like a de facto. So they don't okay, I'm looking for a job. I'm going to go post on Monster and Career Builder. Now that I'm looking for a job, I'm going to go post on Monster and Career Builder, and then I'm going to start looking for a job. And then I'm going to really start going to my network, and I'm going to start going to LinkedIn, all those types of things. But I still think it's kind of a check the box, one of the first things you do with the job search. But again, I don't think there's a whole lot of respect going back to the job seekers as much as there should be, but I think it's tough. I mean, you try to automate it, and that seems insensitive too. And actually, with us, it's a little different because, again, we push jobs into these very small communities and every interaction they have. So we take that job and we parse it. So only IT jobs are showing up in the IT community. So, so hopefully we stand out in that way. I know Dice has introduced a social community where they can all interact with each other and start to network. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I think they're looking to help give job seekers opportunities to kind of network with each other while they're on the site. So I think there's some good things that are happening, but I think it's just a product of the environment, unfortunately.
Well, just as substatement of that, one of my frustrations with those vendors I do business with is that because of all their monsters, businesses down, Career Builder down, Dice, is that they don't do kind of the localized advertising that they used to do from the board. So because everybody's going to the social media side now, that's part of what's impacting their performance, if you will. It's just not putting the Super Bowl commercials out, but they're not doing the brand relationships they used to do. So
yeah, I agree. I agree that what happens at war for talent, and the scarcity that's coming, and the biggest fear is because there's way too many jobs and not enough people, and we're gonna have to import all this type of stuff in the pot. People aren't having as much kids. What are we gonna do? And here we are with this, and it's tough out there. There's just some great people, and that's the reason why And I say beyond as a passive candidate resource, and that value proposition has waned a little bit because there's some really great people who are active right now. It's not just the people who couldn't find a job are still out there on the active market. It's great. There's some outstanding talent. There's just more qualified people in our jobs right now, which is great for us. There's always a lot of pockets that don't fall into that, where you start to find quality. So I don't know if I really answered your question, but appreciate it.
You had mentioned Isaac or something. What's that about?
Isaac it's a very interesting, and I just kind of threw it out there, but it's where you can actually, it's kind of an MLM, to be honest with you. But what they've done is they're using a multi-level marketing approach to get the word out. But they've bought the short code. If you know anything about mobile texting, a short code is something they can't have to type, like type 252367, and then you send a little message, and then it triggers a link back, and then it brings you back in. There's ways, but the first thing you have to do is have a number that's associated with your kind of texting account. So they don't have got 90210 that everyone recognizes. So you can kind of become a franchisee of that, and you can go out and buy a 90210, and then you can say, if I'm a small business, I can say, and I don't understand it completely, so forgive me if I'm not getting this right, if anyone knows it, but you can say, start telling your customers to opt in, and to, type, Mark's Pizzeria, type that to 90210, and a link goes back, and now I've got access to all of my client base. So next thing you know, I'm looking around, I've got like 2 people in my restaurant, and I sit there and type a text, 50% off pizza to loyal customers. It goes out, next thing you know, you're full in an hour, ideally, because it's hitting your local community. So it's just a local way to kind of distribute text, and it's just an example of the way things are. ZIGG.com. IZIGG.com. IZIG. They're a great website. It's pretty cool.
Since you're enjoy internet history here, did you ever think, since you came from the agency world, that 10 years ago, looking back to where we are now, that the newspaper recruitment industry would collapse like it did?
I actually did, because when I came in, I started, the first agency I was with was International Internet Recruiting Consultants, and we were strictly web. So it was like, we were the only ones that were strictly web, which gave us a great advantage. And so we were selling against the dying print right out of the gate. But it shocked me how fast it happened. And it's still certain things, manufacturing, healthcare, there's still certain areas where print still plays a role for local people, but man, it's just amazing. And looking at some of this $20 million account is now a $2 million account, because the other $18 million was print that went away. And it's very selective, and most people just aren't doing a whole lot of it today.
So what do you forecast out in 3 to 5 years for the job force?
I think there's going to be, a basic free model will exist with a lot of them. It's going to be about having all of the jobs, and I think there may be even shared candidates between the job boards, and then how do you then really leverage technology to provide targeted access to create one-to-one relationships, so that I can say, I'm interested in this very detailed job description, and it's like almost more of a matchmaker type of a process that the job boards play than necessarily this typing in a job title and a location, and then it brings the ranks, or the relevance of how those relevance are weighted. Google's done such a great job of ranking those organic search. That's why you've got companies dedicated to manipulating the results pages. There may be, that same type of thing may be present in more search engines that have been optimized to allow for one-to-one targeting. I don't know. Honestly, it's all speculation, but I think it's probably going to be very candidate friendly, and it's going to be very employer friendly. It's that the vendors are going to have to scramble to try to keep up with this hyper-changing marketplace. Any other questions? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.